Hello everyone. Welcome to Spring Boot Tutorial episode 10. This is my channel Proto Hub. In this episode, we will discuss about the very fundamental concept in Spring Boot. It is nothing but how the Spring Boot application main class works. To discuss this, we have a person with us. Hello Priya, how you doing?
Yes Chan, I'm doing really good.
Priya, as you know that, we are going to discuss on how Spring Boot application main class works. Can we get started?
Yes Chan, before deep diving into the topic, I would like to recall all of you that any Java-based application needs a main class for sure. Because it is known that main class is the starting point of execution. In case of Spring Boot application, there will definitely be a main class. Now, in Spring Boot application main class, in order to start the application, we need to annotate the class with @Spring Boot application annotation.
Priya, I have a doubt. What does @Spring Boot application annotation actually do?
Wow, in fact, that's a great question. Let me explain it. @Spring Boot application annotation is a combination of following three annotations. @configuration, @enable auto configuration, @component scan. Let's look into each annotations in brief. First, let's talk about configuration annotation. This annotation is used to indicate that the class has @bean definition methods in it. So, when running the application, using this configuration annotation, Spring Container can process the classes and generate the Spring Beans to be used inside the application. In main class, its purpose is same as usual. In other places, configuration annotation is used to configure the beans that are not auto-configured. One of the example is, it is used to configure Redis server using Redis connection factory. If you are not sure how to use Redis in Spring Boot application, we'll look into it in another tutorial for sure. Now, let's look into enable auto configuration annotation. It is used to enable the auto configuration feature. Auto configuration is used to automatically configure the application based on the jar dependencies that we have added in pom.xml file. For example, if you have Lombok jar dependency in your class path, then it will automatically be configured by auto configuration. So this feature is enabled by enable auto configuration annotation. Now, let's look into component scan annotation. It is generally used along with configuration annotation to scan the packages. It can accept an argument for specifying the packages to scan. If it has no arguments, it will scan the current package and all of its sub-packages.
Greatly explained Priya. So, a single Spring Boot application annotation can be used to enable those three features. But Priya, can we look at them in practice?
Sure Chan. We can see them in code, so that we will understand them even better. First, let's create a class named Google Pay, which is annotated with @component annotation. Then, let's define a method named getAPIinfo that will return a string. Now, above the main class, first we will annotate with configuration annotation, as already explained in brief, that it register extra beans in the context, or import additional configuration classes. Then, let's annotate with enable auto configuration annotation, that will enable Spring Boot auto configuration mechanism. Then, let's annotate with component scan annotation, that will scan the packages, and the classes that are annotated with @component annotation. The argument for this annotation is optional, based on your use cases. Then, create configurable application context object, and locate the bean for Google Pay class. Then, print the method on the console. Now, after running the application, we can see that the application is started, and the output is printed on the console. Now, let's comment those three annotations, and let's annotate the main class with @Spring Boot application annotation. Then, start the application and verify the output. Now, after running the application, we can see that the application is started, and the output is printed on the console. So, now you understand that, using a single annotation like @Spring Boot application, we can achieve the features of the three annotations. This will reduce the lines of code, improve readability, and it enhances the framework. This is one of features in Spring Boot framework. That's it from my side. Chan, now I'm happy to answer the questions, if you have any.
Sure, Priya. First, let me go through this concept that you have explained. Later, I will come back with doubts if any.
Definitely, Chan. We will have an FAQ session episode later in this tutorial where we will discuss and clear some most important and frequently asked doubts so far till this episode.
That's it for this episode, and we will see you in next episode with even more exciting topic. Thank you all.